Hi, my name is Jim and I was retired. A new report says that U.S. life expectancy at birth hit an all-time high of 79 in 2024. In this video, I'll explain why that's the wrong number to use. I was retired at almost 59 a decade ago, and if I had used life expectancy at birth, I might have planned for 20 years of retirement, and by now I would have been halfway through it. But in my DIY retirement, I plan for 90 plus. Stay tuned and I'll explain why. This is a DIY retirement. When it began more than 10 years ago, I was pretty sure we had enough for our retirement. I knew our expenses and I knew our savings, and I took a pretty good guess at the great unknown. How long will our retirement last? I did not use life expectancy at birth. I used an assumed age of death for my wife and I that protected against longevity risks, as I'll explain. In retirement planning, the last thing you want to do is run out of money with another decade to go. Stay tuned to the end, and I'll look at some tools that you could use to find the right longevity age for you. At the end of January 2026, the U.S. National Center for Health Statistics reported that life expectancy at birth hit an all-time high in 2024. It followed the declines in life expectancy during the COVID pandemic, as you can see in that chart there. Now, the Wall Street Journal article here lumped overall life expectancy with another report noting the overall drug overdose decreased by more than 26% between 2023 and 2024. The Wall Street Journal article had this quote from one of the CDC officials. You've got these two things working together, improvements coming out of the pandemic and then declines in overdose deaths, said Robert Anderson, chief of the Statistical Analysis and Surveillance Branch of the National Center for Health Statistics. The result is increased life expectancy to a level a little bit higher than we saw pre-pandemic. It turns out the CDC press release was the source of lumping these two new reports, conflating life expectancy mortality data for 2024 with a separate report on overdose deaths declining in 2024. There's only one problem. The main mortality report doesn't even list drug overdose as one of the leading causes of death. The report only cites the waning effects of COVID, which fell to 15th leading cause of death in 2024. And by the way, if reduced drug deaths in 2024 had such an effect, I can only imagine what 2025 data will look like with greater enforcement at our borders. Let's look at the actual data on life expectancy. This is the chart from that National Center of Health Statistics report, and it shows that the life expectancy at birth overall increased from 78.4 in 2023 to 79 in 2024. Female life expectancy increased to 81.4, and male life expectancy at birth increased to 76.5. But as figure 1 in the report shows, the mortality data also shows increases in life expectancy at age 65, which is a better number in retirement planning. The numbers show that the overall 65-year-old can expect to live another 19.7 years, up from 19.5 in 2023. The data also suggests that 65-year-old female will live another 20.8 years, and the male can expect to live another 18.4 years. So to summarize, males can expect to live to 76, females can expect to live to 81, and the overall age hit an all-time high of 79, which was above the pre-pandemic level of 2019. And this data from Macrotrends suggests that life expectancy will continue its upward trends in 2025. And the overall arch there going up suggests life expectancy is getting longer at birth. But the age that you should be considering is life expectancy at 65. By that age, you have already made it past a lot of mortality risks in infancy and adolescent years. By 65, a male can expect to live to 83, and a female can expect to live to 86. And the overall life expectancy at 65 is 85, not 79. But that is the average. Your DIY retirement plan has to consider what happens if you live longer than people your age. When I began my retirement 10 years ago, I used a planned assumed age at death of 90 for myself and 95 for my wife. Now, some financial planners suggest using the age 100, but that also risks underspending your retirement assets by being too conservative. Now, there are a number of tools for looking at your own longevity number, and I'll show you those in a minute. And that's why I developed these numbers of 90 and 95. Here is one from the Social Security Administration itself, and based on your sex and age, it uses the SSA's actuarial data to determine an estimated life expectancy. Now, it suggests that my life expectancy is about 85 years old. I've also used a lifespan calculator from Northwestern Mutual Life in the past videos, and I've showed that. It uses 14 questions on health and lifestyle and updates your estimated age after each question. And here the Marie's questionnaire suggests longevity of 95. You could also consider this question as a couple. Now, for instance, here is a LongevityIllustrator.org website from the Society of Actuaries and the American Academy of Actuaries. And I've entered a couple with our ages, a male of 69 and a female of 65, and neither smokes, and they're both in average health. And the bars here show the probability of each person in that couple reaching a certain age. Both of them have greater than 50% chance of living to age 85. The female has a 50% chance of hitting 90, and the male has less than a 40% chance of living that old. As a couple, the real question is whether your combined retirement assets will support the longevity risk that either or both of you will live 25 or 30 years from now. The bar chart shows that there's a 50% chance that one of them will live 25 years, and both of them will live at least 15 more years. Here's a chart with that same information illustrated in probability curves. The chances are one of you will outlive the other, and it's important for you to plan for this. That's why you should not use an average life expectancy at birth. You should probably begin by looking at the probability at age 65 or even your current age and enter it into one of these longevity tools. Using at-birth life expectancy figures ignores all of the progress you made to get to your DIY retirement, and you could shortchange your financial plans. As a DIY retiree, you want to build a budget and make investments and set a withdrawal strategy that lasts longer than your longevity risk, so you can cover health care, travel, and just enjoy your DIY retirement without the stress of worrying about running out of money. I'll put a link to some of the articles on the latest life expectancy numbers and the longevity risk to help you in your DIY planning. Comment below, what are you planning for your life expectancy number or longevity risk? What age are you using? And please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you like ideas from a DIY retiree. I will conclude with my standard warning. I am not a professional planner. I have no initials after my name. So take these as entertaining ideas from one educated consumer to another. Always do your own due diligence and seek out a professional if you need one. Bye.